welcome back to the established 1875 YouTube channel. Today we're joined by Barney. Barney, how we doing, mate?
Very good. Very good to be back on.
Now, it's always a privilege to have you on, mate. We love having you on. And also joined by Luke, the AllRovers. Luke, mate, how we doing?
I'm doing good, thanks. How are you?
Yeah, no, I'm good. I'm good. Today's one of them ones. Really, everything seems to be going a little bit too good to be true. The Venkys, everything that's going on over in India at the minute with attacks and whatnot seems a little bit messy over there. JDT's not happy with it. He seems like he wants to be going elsewhere. We don't know. We haven't got a reliable source, really. We can all say the Mirror, massive, massive newspaper. But is it telling the truth? We don't know. But then also we've got some things about Ash Phillips and Adam Wharton to clear up as well. But I want to go straight into it. I want to talk about the Venkys to get into it first, to be honest with you. But Luke, what I know you've got a lot to say about it, mate. What's your thoughts on what's going on with the Venkys at the minute?
Listen, this morning my views were completely different to what they are now. This morning, if you'd have got me to come on, I would have been slating them out. But there again, it's not their fault. I understand the tax thing in India is just not going well at the minute, and it doesn't come in place until October, which is annoying me. But equally, this thing that's come out tonight about the new sponsorship, I don't like the facts on the side of the shirt. I think you'll see shirt sales go down if they're selling them with a badge on. That's just my personal opinion. But there again, I also think it's good for the club. It looks like we're finding a way around maybe financial fair play and stuff like that to hopefully bring in a striker.
Yeah, and like you said there, it reminds me a little bit of, I don't know if anyone's seen it who's watching the West Ham with the JD on the side there. It can actually ruin the kit, and luckily for those who have bought the kit already, hopefully, thank the Lord it's not on there. But for me, with the Venkys, I think there's a lot of way to work around it. You see, I'm not going to get too much into it, but what you see in Saudi Arabia and what you see with Newcastle especially, I think with the accounts work in different countries, it can actually work out all right. As we know, the Venky business itself have accounts in several different countries. I think that this whole tax stuff is getting a bit too much attention for its own good. I think, as we all know, there's a way to work around it. I think putting money into different accounts where these rules aren't applied in different countries, is always the best way to go about it. But Barney, and I know you're quite passionate about it all, and I want to get your thoughts on what's going on with the Venkys. What's your thoughts, mate?
Well, for me, listen, we've all been Blackburn fans for our entire lives. We did live through the absolute shit mess that was the Venkys taking over. It was terrible, but honest to God, I don't think we'd have Blackburn Rovers. We wouldn't have it as a football club if it wasn't for the Venkys. For the last few years, they put so much money in. They balanced the books, and no matter how you look at it, there's not many owners out there that put money continually as much as the Venkys do into the club. I also thought all the news coming out, especially from the Mirror, is just something that you can basically ignore outright, because not only is it coming in effect in October, which is after the transfer window, so it shouldn't really matter on our transfers right now, but they've already put the shares in, 20 million in new shares just this year, a month ago. So I thought a lot of it was just a bit of vitriol maybe from the press, thinking, everything's going a bit slow in the transfer window right now. We'll just target an easy club to target. And I thought that was a bit of the case. My stance on the Venkys is still the same. They definitely were absolutely some of the worst owners anybody could have had when they came in. And I think they've been absolutely superb over the next 3 years. About the kit, I'm not really that bothered by the kit. I just, you like a good looking kit, and no way they slice it. A Blackburn Rovers kit is just going to be blue and white, and it's going to be, and I'm going to love it because I'm a Blackburn fan. I don't hate any of our kits because I just can't hate Blackburn. It's just how it is. But there's an announcement tomorrow about the away kit, I'm pretty sure, and that seems to be an all black one so far. So it looks like that from the promo. So we'll see.
Yeah, and obviously there's been a lot of hints dropped about that away kit coming out tomorrow. I think we all know it's going to be a blacked out kit. I think it's nice, I think it's something that will, you can't go wrong with a blacked out kit, can you? I hope not anyway. Macron are quite a good kit supply when it comes to nice looking kits. I feel like all out black, can you go wrong? Not really, but move on from the Venkys, really, I think personally, they've shoved a lot of money in this year, and I think they're slowly saving their ass with what's happened from the start of Blackburn Rovers. And I think that eventually, I think we'll be thankful for it, but we'll need to see what goes on in October time. I think that's what we're all waiting for. But I think the next big thing is really, as we all know, which this morning I've tried to avoid all day, something really upsetting, really. If it does go through, hopefully it doesn't. But JDT, his position at the club is very unknown at the minute. As Luke here from the AllRovers has put out there, he has put he's the proud manager of Blackburn Rovers, which, I think character says a lot about manager. I think no matter what, as a character, as well as a manager, the character you want is someone who's very powerful, who's ready to stick with you through thick and thin. And I think that, in these troublesome times at the minute, you want him to show that, it doesn't matter. I'm ready to stick here through that and be there for the ups and downs. But Luke, what's your thoughts on the whole situation?
Listen, I would not be disappointed if he left. I wouldn't like to say he's been lied to from the start, but he's been told he was going to get backed, and he has been backed. He's got his players in now. He's got 3 players in who he wants, but he needs that little bit more. And like I put out earlier, he has put out that he's a proud manager of Rovers, but it's the date of when he's done that. I've been seeing it on Twitter all day that it's just changed now. It's recent. It's very recent. But then other people saying it's last week. Other people have been saying it's been there since the start of his reign. So I don't want to be that burden of bad news. But maybe when I put it out, I'm a bit premature on my sources. But equally, we heard the noise this morning that he could maybe move on. But there again, Barney says, it's coming from unreliable sources like the Mirror and Team Talk. And the last insight they had with us was about that young lad from Colchester who is now going to Stoke. So we need to just take everything with a pinch of salt and probably just slow down a bit.
Yeah, and like you said there, it is literally taking everything with a pinch of salt. You don't know what to trust these days. I feel like, talking from a sports journalistic point of view, someone who's doing it at university at the minute, you do tend to pounce on stuff straight away, whatever's hot in the media, when you see a club that's doing really well, I think sometimes as a journalist, you look, what can you kind of fault there and go, let's put a spanner into the works. And you look at what happened. We knew with the whole Indian law, with the tax and the Venkys, we knew this prior. We knew this was going on quite a while ago now. Whereas now there's rumours out there, JDT's but unhappy. You mix a bit of salt and pepper together. You start stirring the ball, and that ball's starting to look a bit tasty, and it looks like something you can chuck out there, and people are going to bite. And that's the whole point of it. You've got to realise journalists want them bites. And as Blackburn Rovers fans, as the community we've got, we love a good bite, and that's what fans are doing right now. But Barney, moving away from if he is leaving or if he's not leaving, what are your thoughts if JDT actually does decide to leave, mate?
Well, someone saying about 6 months ago, and I was probably saying it even before that John Dal Thomason is up there, if not the biggest asset that Blackburn Rovers has at this minute. I think he's that good, and I was saying it when he wasn't really getting wins and wasn't playing that great in the first half of the season. I'm saying, listen, you really got to give him time. A lot of people were even saying Jon Dahl Tomasson out. If you remember, imagine what they're feeling right now. They're probably going to be the people who are saying most, "Oh, please stay on his Twitter account or Insta." But I think he is genuinely a very good manager, and I think we're extremely lucky to have him. And not only that, I hope that we can step up to his level, because clearly he wants to be a level above, and he wants to keep pushing, and he wants players that can help him. And I think that also feeds into, as we'll talk about, the Ash Phillips transfer later. But I think Jon Dahl Tomasson is up there with probably Adam Wharton as our most valuable asset. And as a club, as a business, you need to keep hold of your valuable assets. It's that simple.
Yeah, and like you said there, it's like he's always playing a game of chess, isn't it? He's always 2 steps ahead, and it seems like the club can't keep up with him, and it's kind of mad. We've had managers before where we're like, the manager can't keep up with the club. It's like Blackburn Rovers is trying to keep up with Jon Dahl Tomasson right now, and that's something like, from a manager's point of view, we've not had in absolutely ages. And I think instead of what's happening right now, it seems like everything's going to shit, to put it quite frankly. We need to just go, you know what, we need to sort this. Let's get to his level. Let's bring the players he wants to bring in, and let's make it work. I mean, Arne Sigurdsson, Tronstad. I mean, them two signs alone are massive statement signings. Massive statement signings. If that's a little taste of what he can bring in if we get promoted, there's big things to come with this club. But it's getting us there. It's getting us there in the first place, and let's hope we can do that. But let's move away from that type of stuff, behind the scenes and with the manager and whatnot. Let's just hope that kind of, with the manager kind of slides down a little bit. It was all a bit of a hype train that everyone jumped on, and it kind of smooths out and everyone's like, you know what, actually, we shouldn't have worried about it in the first place. But something we should definitely worry about is Ashley Phillips. We all know, in my opinion, anyway. Jesus Christ, he's an England number. He's literally England's starting centre back at one point in the future. That's a personal opinion. I mean, making a debut in a shirt that you can't even wear a sponsor on because you're that young, and putting the performance he did on his debut. Yes, very much protected by the players around him when he made his debut at Rovers, but you kind of looked at it and gone, he probably didn't need that protection. He was very, very calm, very, very good on the ball, and that's something that these days you want from the centre backs. You want someone who can play out the back, and he looks like he's got a bit of that about him. He's got the height, the pace, he's got it all about him. But Barney, I'm going to go straight to you with this one. The rumour is Fabrizio Romano. Here we go. You can never go against one of them ones. 3 million. There's going to be some add-ons included, apparently. There's going to be some clauses, according to Elliot Jackson. What are you wanting to see in the clauses? What are you wanting to see in the add-ons that actually makes this deal worth it? Because I'm not going to lie to you, 3 million it's not looking good.
Yeah, no. It's for me, it's a sad transfer. No club wants to see one of their brightest, youth prospects who's come through, sold so quickly. I think just talking about him, if he plays, like a season like Adam Wharton did, where he gets, 25 games under his belt, he's probably up there worth 10, 15 million minimum. And I think he's much more stable, but, we just couldn't offer him that. He's fourth choice. It's very unlucky, but I think I heard there's a clause, of course, for 3 million if he doesn't play enough games. So that's, maybe that's an oversight by the club, but I think it's really undervalued. I think for me, I wouldn't sell him. Or if we got 5 million and then the add-ons, I'd be much more happy. But 3 million to me just seems a bit, less. I think they've got to add some clauses in, maybe for a future England cap, maybe 50 games for Tottenham in the future, something like that, and a sell-on clause, of course, of 20% maybe. This kid he's been at Blackburn since he was 8, if I remember reading correctly. The kid's been here for a long time. And it could be such a shame for all that development. They pour millions into these kids, as a development and as a team. So it's a real shame to see him go.
Yeah, and like you said, I mean, you can just tell he's going to be a star from what you see of him. In my opinion, how we're not looking at it and going, maybe he can't be starting 20 games a season. I think he can, or sending him off to a top of the League One team and he's playing every game of the season there, making sure he's not injury prone and whatnot. It's just a little bit mad for me. But look, I want to look at a little bit more of the business side with you, really. £3 million, like Barney just said there, as a release clause seems a little bit ridiculous. For someone of his, stature coming through the ranks seems a little bit low. Do you think business-wise this is very poorly done, his contracts? Because as we know beforehand, there was never a professional contract there. So we could never have received any money for him. It would be who's getting the professional contract first. We finally got it over the line, but now it's, oh wait, you've got a clause of 3 million. What do you think's gone on there then, mate?
Listen, I don't know who is dealing with these clauses in the contracts or anything like that, but there must be the same guy who bottled the signings back in January, because it is incredibly undervalued. Listen, like Barney said, I'd be happy with 5 million. And I'll be honest with you, when it first came out and I saw 2-3 million, I thought, yeah, well, this is the biggest clickbait story of the season. Everybody's jumping on the train because Richie has left and Rovers fans don't have nobody to rely on. But then it's become more developed that it's looking like it's going to happen. And 3 million's a steal for any club. And listen, Ash is my age, right? He's near enough my age. We're near enough 18 together. And that kid is so mature. For the way he stands out in that team at such a young age is unbelievable. And he is going to be an unbelievable player. But for £3 million, we're robbing ourselves. That's all I can say with you. I'm a bit stuck for words. We are robbing ourselves, and that's all I can really say.
It's almost like we've waited for clubs to come in and we're there with a knife ready for a 20 million deal to stab them, and we've missed and just stabbed ourselves. And it's just like, what has gone on there? I'm gutted. I'm gutted. It doesn't matter what anyone says. I'm gutted. He's worth way more than that.
Listen, you
Oh,
can't stand in.
can I just say something? I'll just say something real quick. I do agree with you there, Matt, but you've got to look at the side of it. There is a simple solution to this, and clearly, it's been orchestrated by the agent. He either gets first team football or he's gone. It's that simple. And you know it's not. They won't say it, but there'll be a clause in there that says this release clause will be taken away if he plays first team football, basically. And I think it's very unlucky that we've had Hayden Carter come through this year, who's been so good. And we have Dom Hyam, and of course we have Scott Wharton backing it all up. There is a simple solution to dealing with this, and it's giving the kid game time, but we just couldn't do it. So on that end, I can understand it. 3 million on face value for a fourth choice centre back isn't too bad, but then again, of course, if the fourth choice centre back's a 17-year-old that has such great potential, it does hurt a bit. But then, of course, Luke, you go ahead. Sorry.
Listen, he's what? He's 18, like we've touched on quite a few times now. He will have been dreaming of this, and I think last season for him was probably the chance to get them few games, get championship debut before he moved on. And it's all right to say like we're gutted and this and other, but we can't be too disheartened. Like he'll have a dream, and we can't stand in the way of his dream. So for him to go to Tottenham at this age is probably a massive thing for him, and probably his family. Everybody at the club is going to have to be proud of him. In a few years, we're going to look back, and if he's playing for England, if he's not playing for England, if he's first team for Tottenham, or if he's plummeted down to like League Two with Accrington Stanley, you never know how a career is going to turn out. But hopefully, it works out for him, and all the best to him.
Yeah, and like you said there, I think anyone who truly follows Rovers will always wish Ash Phillips the best. I think, he's always been such a professional when he's come through the ranks. He's never really complained about his situation when, he's quite easily a player that could turn around and go, look, I know I'm going to be the next superstar of England. Please, send me away now. And it touches on what you just said there, Luke, a little bit there, mate. Like, he's just really, really good, and his attitude's just there. And for his age, to have that attitude is absolutely extraordinary. But touching on someone else who, is around that age mark, who's coming through the ranks, Adam Wharton. Well, we've heard a few rumours there and there. He's going to Everton. He's going wherever. He's been contacted by every bloody club in the Premier League, apparently. Everyone wants Adam Wharton. Barney, mate, tell us, Adam Wharton, pal, what's going on? You
can't blame him.
You know more than anyone, man. Come on, you know this.
I can't say why, but yeah, no, I do. But it's, can you blame the Prem clubs? I mean, the kid, if you talked about it in the, the start of the transfer window, if we were going to sell Phillips or Adam, I'd every single time I'd pick, Phillips out of 100. Like, it's just different. I think, of course they're going to be compared because, they both broke through the season, but it's different for Adam, I think, just because the fact, he's a Blackburn fan and, he lives locally and he knows what it means. I think Phillips always had that, that dream of playing maybe for a big top side somewhere else. Well, I don't think it's the same with Adam. He supports Blackburn and, he wants to do well for this club. And I think it's really good that, Adam Wharton, will stay. And I think he will stay. I don't think he'll go. That's my thought.
Come on. We want an answer. We're not going to give away any sources, but is he staying or is he leaving, Barney? Come on, that's what we want.
He's staying. I think he'll stay.
Yeah. He's staying. That's all we need to know. That no one starts sliding into Barney's DMs, right? Because he knows too much. But at the end of the day, that's all we need to know. There's nothing more on that. But Luke, what we need to know from you now is we know we're really grasping on the hope that he is definitely staying. What is this to come from Adam Wharton this year? Obviously picked up an injury in pre-season, which is very, very unfortunate. But, there's a whole lot this boy can do. We know he runs the middle of the field. That this man can see a pass from acres away. This man can turn someone before you even know it. He knows where people are in the field before they even know where they are in the field. What do you think's yet to come from this boy?
Listen, the most important thing right now is getting him fit, because we cannot have this key asset sat on the sideline all season. So it's only a minor injury I'm hearing. It's not exactly a massive one where he's going to be out for months and months and months. So for him, we heard about last season, maybe there were a few attitude problems where at the start of the season he thought like he was just going to be in that team every week after the Blackpool game. And you can understand that, a young lad, probably the first time around the first team, stuff like that, new manager, I'm going to walk in this team easily. I'm going to be there every week. And he seemed to have sorted that out, and he seemed to have got more mature. And again, a really grounded young man who has also had a few England calls up. And I genuinely do feel this season is going to be the season where Adam Wharton, by the end of it, where you've got Alex Scott at 25 million, Adam Wharton's probably going to be about 45 million. And that's my opinion. I don't care what anybody says. It's what I'm thinking. He's going to be one of the brightest young talents in the EFL. And you can, anybody who's watching, bookmark this, save this, I don't care. Screen record it, because I'm calling it now.
I was literally, you took the words out of my mouth, mate. That is getting clipped. You are getting named and shamed if Adam Wharton does not have his breakthrough season. Now, I just hope you know what you've done to yourself, mate.
Listen, if he does his ACL, then you can get like you can like go away. This, you're not doing it for me then. But fingers crossed, this lad is going to have a breakthrough season, and everybody in the EFL better be scared, because I'm telling you, your defenses aren't ready for Adam Wharton.
Mate, I'm getting PTSD for you. I've had plenty of montages of me on TikTok already of clown faces put over the top of me. I'm quite frankly scared for you.
I'm incredibly confident that not many other clubs are watching this except our fans, and maybe a few salty Burnley fans who are hoping on the hope that we go down, and they're thinking, oh, let's see if they're going, let's see if JDT is going. So I think I'm pretty safe with our own fan base.
Let's hope so. Let's hope there's no dirty Preston fans coming in, because they're the worst, mate. They're the worst. But I think we touched upon all things there, really. I think, as the only things we can really confirm there is, well, the only thing we can is that Ash Phillips to Tottenham is a done deal. But obviously, Luke, mate, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it as always.
Always. It's been a pleasure as always.
And also, Barney, mate, thank you so much for joining us.
No worries, anytime.
And thank you everyone for watching as well. It's been a rough couple of days for Blackburn Rovers as a club, and let's just hope we get ourselves out of this slump. Let's hope we're riding high again. A couple of new signings in, a lot of links to strikers and whatnot that we'll touch upon in another episode. But thank you all for watching. Make sure to like, subscribe, hit that notification button as well. Make sure to look at Luke out on the AllRovers down at Instagram. Make sure to look at the RoversReports on Instagram. And if you think you want to get a bit more on the Adam Wharton situation, try and find Barney. That's not on me. But thank you so much, everyone. And make sure to tune in next time, where we will be updating you with more transfer rumours.